Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Minds Group Tech. This is part 2 for the jQuery plugin development for Modal Dialogue. I will continue from my previous session where we have created a plugin which has created a Modal Dialogue on top of the contents of the containing page. So if I click, I can see the contents from dialog.html as a pop-up on the given page. Now, in this particular session, I will be continuing the same development. So what's next in this particular development is making this modal dialog center aligned to the page. To do that, what we need is to create a function. So for this, what I'm going to do is create a function. Let's name it as center page. So what we need over here is to set the property of dialog container as its CSS, setting its top. I have already created one snippet for it. So what it is doing, it is setting the top property, which is Windows height minus the height of the container minus divided by 2, and from the left I have to set its property as this. So once our dialog container is ready, we have to simply call this center page function and refresh the page. Hurrah! So our dialog box is in the center, but the problem is that if I resize the window, this is not going to maintain the position into the center. So for that, what we need is reposition as soon as we resize the window. To do that, this particular center function we have to call every time we are resizing the page. How we do that? We will write a function which will be calling the window resize, window dot resize event, call the function, and what we have to do over here in this function is call it a center page. Okay, so we change the size of the window and the dialog box is in the center. But again, there is another problem. I have created this dialog box, but there is no way to close it. So what we need over here right now is a close button. So close button is something like that, a cross symbol over here in the corner. So we can use a simple X. For that we need a div close before here. Then the close is a div in title area. Okay, and the text is capital X. We can use an image over here, but as of now, for this particular demo, what I am doing is I am creating a simple cross button, and I will bind a click event to it. So on click of this div, call a function which will close the dialog. Let me ID it and make it close and style it. So make it is float right and line height as same as 30 pixel, which is the height of our title container, and padding make it 5 pixel, and let our properties run over here happily. So we have X over here, but the problem still persists, that X is no, so X is over here, and set cursor as pointer, and now the click event. So come back on click, we have to close. So for closing, what we need actually is a function which can be called from anywhere. Yes, not only from the close button, we want to manually close it. So what we are going to do is create a function as sub function of our dialog. So here we have to close our dialog box, but for that, first of all, what main thing is we need to identify that we have actually created a modal dialog on the page or not. So let's identify it with the help of div overlay. If this particular div is existing on the page, that means we have already created a dialog box. So we check it over here. is not equal to null, then only we perform certain tasks. So first of all, what we have to do is hide the dialog container. So div dialog container dot hide, and after the hide function is completed, we call a callback. And in this callback, what you have to do is remove this particular. And once it is removed, remove the overlay itself. Dot remove. And set this overlay object as null. So whenever we click on that close button, we have to simply go and call this particular function. That's all. So let's refresh. Something somewhere went wrong. So the problem is that I have to define it at the bottom. Once modal dialog is available, then only I can specify this the function of it. So here we go. And voila, it's gone. Open the box, close the box. And if you see our DOM, we have two elements created on click of that button, and now we can not click that button and close it. Those two extra elements are gone. It is loading the contents from dialog.html, showing it to us and going away. So this is one thing which is like we are closing the dialog from the dialog title, but there are situations when we have interactive content within the page which we have loaded in the dialog, and we want to close the dialog box from within that particular page. So what we have to do, we have to go back and include in our dialog page one function which will demonstrate how we can actually close the dialog box. Let's ID it as button close dialog, and we have to include jQuery over here. Source jQuery.js, type JavaScript. And once we have that in place, we have to write a method on document load ready function be called that is attaching an event on click event to a function and call parent dot jQuery object dot mgt modal dialog dot close. So we have our child page ready with the button. Let's see whether it is able to close the dialog or not. Yes, it is. So this makes our model dialog plugin complete. We can always continue enhancing the features, the functionality of this particular dialog. In the next tutorial, what I will be doing, I will be telling you uh, how to make it customizable so that we can dynamically provide the height and width and title and URL of the page to be loaded to this particular plugin so that user at the runtime can decide on what he has to actually load in this particular dialog and how it should look like. So let's see you in next video.